Good morning, beloveds.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Chico. It's certainly my pleasure to be here this morning to present the lesson entitled Stream of Consciousness. What is that? What is that? Well, I begin with a interpretation. It's from The Essential Rumi by Coleman Barks. And it is this: there is a way between voice and presence where information flows. In disciplined silence, it opens. With wandering talk, it closes. There is a way between voice and presence where information flows. In disciplined silence, it opens. With wandering talk, it closes. What does that tell us? Well, it tells me that when I go to the place of truth in that silence, where I'm not distracted by the chatter of the world, the illusion of the world, then life has a more constant loving flow. I know that there is a way for this to flow, and this way is through love. The way between voice and presence is where information flows. Where? In consciousness. In consciousness. We are in and of this divine movement, which I refer to as the stream of consciousness. I love metaphors and I love images, as many of you know. And so I'm using the stream as an idea of flow. So my intention for this morning's lesson is to provide a deeper awareness of the creative power of this thing we call consciousness. So let us begin the awareness where I began, because that's the only place I know where to begin. Where I began this study of metaphysics some 25 years ago. And I heard the minister declare, it's all consciousness. It's all consciousness. Huh? What? Well, many of you who also know this about me, I have some questions. I'm a question guy. My first one was, what is consciousness? And the second was, where is it? Where is it? Well, the what it is was defined for me in our Science of Mind textbook. Simple definition: consciousness is mental awareness. So whatever we're aware of in our life sort of is a general idea of consciousness, our mental awareness. That was a good start. Okay, it was a good start. I have a very scientific mind. It tends to think very linear. And so I like some steps. I like a process. Well, that definition went on to clarify consciousness is both objective and subjective. Now, what's that mean? What does that mean? Objective, subjective, object, subject. So, are there two parts of consciousness? No. There's not two parts, because two parts would denote separate. There are two aspects of consciousness. Now, an aspect by definition is the manner of presentation of a plane to a fluid through which it is moving, or to a current. So it is an aspect that flows between and through and as all of its parts, which are not separate. You cannot separate them. Love words, love study. So the two aspects of consciousness or mental awareness objective, subjective, complement the entirety as one. A pie wouldn't be a pie if there were just two halves. A whole pie is the whole pie. You can't separate it. If you say, this is a whole pie, this is consciousness, you can't have half consciousness. Either is or it isn't. So I go on. Objective consciousness is the state of mental awareness where we reason, we make decisions. It's our will. That's objective. That's the aspect of consciousness where we make decisions. It's our will. Objective is the aspect of the mental where we choose. We make our choices. Objective consciousness is the director of the show, if you will. Now, subjective consciousness is the state of mental awareness where we get to create. It's the creative aspect of consciousness. And this aspect of the mental receives the instruction or the direction from the director. Well, from the objective as the director to the subjective, the actor, is the show, is our life, is our consciousness. And just like a good movie, consciousness has its supportive components. These aspects assist the co-creation of this thing called our life. It's our movie, it's our experience. So, speaking of movies, and I've used this before, but it was so perfect for today. The movie Sunset Boulevard, actress Gloria Swanson, as Norma Desmond, who was an old, soon-to-be retired actress in the movie, declared, life is an illusion. Very profound. Life is an illusion. Because it's forever changing in form. And this illusion we are creating by living in a state of consciousness as an idea. It is in consciousness where all ideas germinate. Well, this illusion we are currently living began where? In consciousness, as an idea. We're here today because we had an idea some time ago. Everything that we've ever had in our minds is here today, has brought us here today. What we wear, how we sit, how we think, how we take information in, it has all come to here. It was scripted by you, the director, and your chosen team of writers. Some of those names are belief, emotion, and yearning. But they've written through consciousness, through your ideas and your goals and your yearnings, right here, right now, in this moment. So our spiritual consciousness team are writers and directors and actors. They've been hired by us. How? You and I have agreed to employ them. We've said yes to those beliefs, those ideas, those emotions in our lives. And not unlike other agreements, personal, business, and spiritual, they require periodical reevaluations. That's why we're here, to reevaluate every Sunday. What it is we're believing, what it is we're experiencing, and how did we get here? Oh my God, how did I get here? You know? Well, some will need to be fired. Some of those ideas. You need to let them go. Now, some may take a little severance pay because they're emotional. You know, they're going to hang on They're going to want to have more, a little more play in your life. You can't just say, oh, you're fired and you're out of here. Unlike the TV show. You're fired. Get out. No. A lot of them are deep, and they've attached themselves to us. So here's another way to clarify the aspects of consciousness and mental awareness. The objective is the boss. The subjective is the employee. The objective employs the subjective state. It's really a powerful understanding when we can come to a little bit of understanding of this, because then we begin to be the boss. We begin to be clear. We begin to employ different aspects of who we are into our lives because we get to see them play out. Who knew all your training would bring you here today? Was this part of your long-range goal? I doubt it. Back when you first started in music and theater, but here you are. We're grateful. So, we don't know where it's going to take us necessarily, but we know the feeling behind it. And that feeling behind it is what we place in that stream of consciousness and let it move downstream. So now we know the what. So where is it? Where is consciousness? Well, my first concept of consciousness and where it is somewhere up here, or somewhere down there, or somewhere. I thought it was up here. I also held the illusion that if I wanted something different or greater in my life, I had to expand my consciousness. Well, I also believed there was hard work. All I've come to know is that all of these illusions are not reality. And that it's not hard work. And you cannot expand consciousness, because consciousness is. We have to expand our awareness of it and come into agreement with it, our beliefs. And then our life expands. We have to give it permission, and then we need to step into it. Step into it. Consciousness is, I'll use water again. Start with a drop of water at high elevation. It's natural for it to do what? There's a law governing water. It is gravity. And it flows down. It flows with enough velocity, it will, for a moment, seem to defy gravity, but it will eventually come back into its natural, perfect order, like our lives. We can defy it for a minute, but eventually it has to flow where it flows. And so it goes from a drop to a trickle to a stream, to the river, to the lake, to the ocean. And so we are the drop that starts out with an idea. And then that flows into something greater eventually. Some drops get there faster. Some get caught in a lake and maybe never get to the ocean. But that's the path that was taken. And just as the molecule of water contains within it all the aspects of the larger body of water, we too have all that is necessary within us to play in this larger body of life. Can you imagine stepping into the flow, into a new idea of your life? Can you imagine that? Many just stick a big toe in there. Try the water. It's too cold. It's too hot. It's too turbulent. It's too emotional. Too twisty. Lots of excuses why we can't. Why don't we? There's no idea too small or too large in the mental consciousness arena. There's no idea too small. It's all consciousness, isn't it? Makes more sense now, doesn't it? When you hear it's all consciousness. So I would say, get into its stream. It takes no physical action. It just takes the mental yes. Try it on and see where it takes you. Now, I was privy to awareness of this stream of consciousness and the emotion and the power of it when I went to an exhibit at our science museum here in Chico. And it was photography on the rivers, specifically the Sacramento River, and how it changes its banks, and how it moves, and how it flows, and how it creates. And if any of us have seen the Sacramento River, most times it's pretty placid on top. Like a lot of life, it's really, the top seems kind of okay. There's a few areas of little ripples and little bumps. But then a volume of water, which would be emotion in this example, comes through. And the velocity of the volume of water, it starts within the river, the Sacramento River, a spiraling of molecules. And depending on which way they spiral, the river will change its banks. It will actually move over time. And as it moves and goes forward, what it's stirring up is nutrients from the bottom out of itself that show up along the edges of the river and produce new growth. I went, whoa, isn't that metaphysical? Whoa. So within the river is the potential to create new life, to create new form. And it's through the velocity of what's coming before that causes that to happen. And so as we feed our river of consciousness with nutritious, life-supportive ideas for ourselves, it might take a day or a week or 20 or 30 years. Who knows? But let's get going. Let's stir it up. Let's create something that only you know what you want, what you deserve, what you desire. What are your ideas? What is in your flow of consciousness? So as I come to conclusion here, it's taken me 25 years to get to this point to understand consciousness at this level. And I still don't know it all. I still have questions. And that's good, because we don't know it all. We never know it all. And so I have another poem from Essential Rumi as translated by Coleman Barks. And it ties in with the river. Late by myself in the boat of myself. No light and no land anywhere. Cloud cover thick. I try to stay just above the surface. Yet I'm already under and living with the ocean. I love that. I'm gonna read that again. Want to hear it again?
Yes.
Late by myself in the boat of myself. No light and no land anywhere. Cloud cover thick. I try to stay above the surface, yet I'm already under and living with the ocean. We cannot get out of this consciousness of mental awareness because we're immersed in it. And yet we have just enough vision above what's going on beneath within us to say, yeah, I like that. I don't want that. Get rid of that one. I'll go there. So we're immersed in it, yet we're able, in this human livingness to create something new, because we can have vision. So consciousness is mental awareness. Consciousness never changes in and of itself. What does change are the results of our believing into it. Energy, emotions, beliefs alter the course and the flow, but not of consciousness itself. But our experiences change out of this universal medium and have the potential to be magnificent. Magnificent as this life, as your life, as my life. So live it up. Stir it up. Let your life move outside its normal banks and create something new. Namaste. And so it is.